So this was the solution that I wrote in Python. This is probably the Leetcode solution. I also watched the Leetcode, like the conceptual part. I didn't watch the coding part, but the conceptual part also kind of went through this, and I didn't realize sets, like lookup in sets, are like constant time. I was doing some research, and apparently it's like sets are created with hash tables, if this AI is correct. Cool stuff. Now, is there a set implementation in Swift, or do I need to create it from scratch? How do I go about doing this? Good question, though. Yeah. So, let's see. Set in Swift. We do. I'll look at examples. There's a set class. Interesting. Okay. So you can turn that into a set, and then what you'll be wondering is like, how is this O of n? Because there's a for loop here and a while loop here. Or maybe you're not wondering, but I was definitely wondering. And what I'm understanding is we have this. We're going through each of the elements in the num set. So that's O of n, right, passing through it. And this check over here, checking that there's numbers after. Like if there's a 1, checking if there's a 2, then checking if there's a 3, then a 4 in this num set. Increasing the length, and then whenever that sequence ends, you just kind of save it into the maximum, like integer, like the longest integer here. And then if num minus 1 not a num set, are we not doing repeated work? Like if we get to 2, then well, I guess we won't be doing this work if it's 2 because 1 does exist. So we'll skip this entire thing. So we're just doing this for the number of sequences in the number of sequences in nums. Nice. Leetcode also like drew this like line with like the interval line, and then kind of showed how the sequences like it was a nice visual. I would recommend watching the Leetcode video if this confuses you. And just making sure, so we go through this, and then this as well. What if this is like equal to n as well? Then the rest of these checks are like, if this is like, if this goes through the entire set of nums, then it's going to continue this for loop up here afterwards, but then none of these are actually going to run. Right, all of these are going to be executed to false. Like for example, if we have this one, right, we start at 0. I think all of these are in the sequence. So we start at 0, right? And 0, we kind of do this, and then we go through the length and eventually add 9. Like eventually this length becomes 9. And then when we get to like the next element, 3, we know 2 exists. Let's go back here. We know like 2 does exist in the num set, right? And then the next element does exist in the num set, and all of these will exist in the num set. So none of these will be true after 0 runs. But then we're still running this for loop n times. So isn't this n squared technically? Maybe I'll ask ChatGPT why isn't it? But I'm gonna just implement this. Or try to at the very least. So let's just delete this. Let's delete this. And then I'll set let num set equal to set nums. Is that gonna give me a problem? I don't know. Let's see. I'm gonna just close this. So just implementing it from scratch. Max length var max length is equal to 0. Return max length at the end. And then we want to go through for num in num set all the elements in nums. If num minus 1. How do you check this? How do you check contains? Num set that contains num minus 1. Can I do something like that to get the opposite? Because now I want to run like a while loop while num plus want something like length is equal to 0, and then you want to do length in while num set contains num length. You want to increase length by 1. And at the end over here, you want to say is max length like the original value the maximum length, or is the new length the maximum? Let's run this because I am running short on time. Syntax errors. Oh, nice. Yo, I was not expecting that. Cool. Now, I'm going to ask ChatGPT in terms of why does time complexity fits in the O event space. Or first ask like what the time complexity is. Or maybe I'll just continue watching the Leetcode video. Maybe they'll explain it in that video. But that's all for today. Yeah, okay, I'll end it here.